question.
Okay, I'm recording now. So hello everybody on our YouTube page and on our Facebook Live page, or the MCon Anime Fest Facebook Live page. This is our behind the scenes recording of our show on Zoom. We are here with our senior correspondent, Charlie Saladino. Did we lose our senior correspondent, Charlie Saladino?
Hello, fun seekers.
There we go. We have
Are we, though?
Pronto Comics, Dominick Definition Man Sperano.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, he's there. I'm here. Hello, everybody.
All right. And we have from the Life with Jenner G, Jen Elise Feldy.
Hello.
And we have our guest who we're going to be talking to with and about as soon as we start the show. We have Marvin Wynn from The Edge Comic and MT from Heron Berg.
With Marisha.
Yep.
With Marisha. Okay, I think we're ready. We ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go.
The following is brought to you in
Fingers
part
crossed,
by
everybody.
NFC Studios. The views of the show's host and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the management, owners, or staff of this radio station. And now, it came from the radio.
Yapatoy, and welcome once again to It Came From The Radio, the official show of the Big Apple Con. This is your host, Mark Torres, speaking. With me, courtesy of the East Meadow Public Library, for our 30-second, I got it right this time, 30-second live show in front of a studio audience on Zoom, social distancing. We have our very own Pronto Comics, Dominick Definition Man Sperano.
What's up, Mark?
We have
You're the last person on earth that should be doing anything technological like this at all.
It's all courtesy of the East Meadow Public Library, so that's all them.
Thank God.
I'm just talking.
Thank God for the East Meadow Public Library.
We have our very own senior correspondent, Charlie Saladino.
Hey, fun seekers. How's everyone doing?
We have from The Life with Jenner G, Jen Elise Feldy.
Hello, fun seekers. I think that's going to be my new tagline to greet people. That's great.
And we have two, count them, 2.5 special guests for our show today. We have Marvin Wynn from The Edge Comic.
How's it going?
Woo!
Yay!
And MT from Heron Berg.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
There we go.
Greetings, assemblage.
And who is your partner there, so I can give them a proper shout out?
Great. My lovely partner is Marisha. She publishes her own comic and is one of our actresses.
Mauricia, Mauricia, Mauricia.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
close enough.
Yes,
Close enough.
Mauricia. Uh-huh.
I'm pronouncing it correctly. That's the important thing.
Yes.
All right. But before we do any of that, we're going to take it away with the news.
No, please, not the news.
That means it's morphin' time.
See, look, I'm prepared this time. The news is brought to you in part by the fine folks of the Big Apple Con, of which we are the official radio show of, celebrating over 25 years of comic book, myth, and pop culture stuff. For more information, go to www.bigapplecc.com. Keep on looking on their website, so that way when the apocalypse is over, you can find out when their next convention is going to be.
I think this is the longest apocalypse there's ever been.
Yes. I agree. This is the extended edition of the apocalypse.
This is like Lord of the Rings extended edition apocalypse.
Yes, we just keep
Oh
on
my
walking and
God.
walking, looking for
Or
toilet
just-
paper.
Oh my God, the toilet paper.
Hey, Mark, I got a question.
Yes.
Why is everybody's video popping up on screen except mine?
I don't know. You have to ask the other Charlie.
All right, go on with the news.
I use gallery view, so I see everybody here. If you go to your top right of the screen, it says gallery view. If you click that, then you see everybody like Brady Bunch.
I see nobody, but that's because I have a whole bunch of other windows up. So let me
Let's
throw
not even go into your computer, Mark.
Yes, so we
I think your computer was built by Steve Jobs himself.
So we also have to mention our Patreons, of which there are Danny Grillo, award-winning newly released movie Jared Burrell director Jared Burrell, Two Sentence Horror, Kyle Horn, Millie Portes, Newsday famous Dresden Media, Unji Kun, and Shadow Rabbit Art. If you guys want to have your own, if you guys want to have your own little shout out, go to www.patreon.com, look up It Came From Real in the search bar, and just for $1 a month, you can get your shout out. We also have other levels. The newest level is that of for just $15,000. Jennifer, do you know what they get for $15,000?
Sure, I keep forgetting. This coronavirus seems to have boggled my memory. Could you tell us?
Sure. You get
Can you
a
still smell?
day.
Yeah. I smell.
Okay, you don't have it. You're good.
Smell garlic.
Well, so long as you can smell, man.
You get a day with co-host Jen Elisfeldy, consisting of two prepared and cooked meals along with the recipes by and from her Keys to Live the Life guidebook, and a personal training workout session for you and a friend at her personal gym, in addition to all the other perks. So that means you also get to hang out with our very own Dominick Definition Man Sperano, going to all the best comic book stores and bars in New York, right? You're supposed
true.
to. There you go.
That's
All
true.
right.
That still means that I'm the
And what if
$10,000.
you're
She's
not
5,000.
21?
We should up it to 20,000.
I can't go higher than 15. It
We
doesn't
need
let me.
20,000. Make it 20,000 if they're getting both of us. That's not fair to her.
It doesn't let me go higher than that.
All right,
It's
then
15.
we'll figure it out. We'll figure
Yes.
it out.
So let's take.
15,000 and a $5,000 bonus.
Ooh, there you go. So let's start off with the sad news. As always, we
We
start
need to
with
have a word with these people. They're undervaluing Jen.
I agree wholeheartedly. So we got to start off with the news. So
Where
let's
do we
start off.
begin with the sad news?
Sad
It's
news.
all sad.
Sad news. A lot of sad news this week. So legendary musician Richard Wayne.
Just look
Penniman.
around. It's all sad news.
Legendary musician Richard Wayne Penniman, better
not
known
know that
as
was
Little
his name.
Richard, died recently from bone cancer. This little news segment can do this performer no justice. He pretty much invented rock and roll and entertained the masses for decades with a plethora of music hits from most notably Tutti Frutti, Long Tail Sally, and Good Golly Miss Molly, just to name a few. Of note, Little Richard received the Cashbox Triple Crown Award, was
Did you ever
inducted
hear the
into...
Pat Boone version?
I have not. So Little Richard received the Cashbox Triple
It's
Crown
terrible.
Award, was inducted into the Georgia Music Hall of Fame, was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the initial class of inductees, received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Rhythm and Blues Foundation, received the American Music Award of Merit, was inducted into the NAACP Image Award Hall of Fame, was inducted to the Songwriters Hall of Fame, was inducted to the Apollo Theater Hall of Fame, was inducted to the Louisiana Hall of Fame, was inducted to the Blues Hall of Fame, and received the Distinguishing Artist Award in 2019's Tennessee Governor's Arts Awards, among many other awards. Woo! Charlie, senior correspondent Charlie Saladin.
Danny
Danny Steele
Blossom.
passed away too.
R.I.P.
Senior correspondent Charlie Saladin, you were around when he was coming up. Do you have any a little insight on Little Richard?
Yeah, I've seen him live. To me, here's where I get in trouble. To me, him and a couple other people, Chuck Berry and everything, they were the kings of rock and roll, not Elvis. Elvis was the messiah. Elvis brought rock and roll to the masses. But Little Richard, Chuck Berry, they wrote the songs that they performed. They actually I'm not going to say created rock and roll, but they put it out there for bands like the Beatles and all those other British bands to, just love rock and roll. And of course, Elvis was out there to bring it, like I said, to the masses. But Little Richard was amazing. If you ever saw him in concert, forced to be dealt with. Very sad for me that he's gone. And millions of others.
Yes. So he was a spry 87.
Yeah.
It's a good run. 87's a good run.
So moving on from more sad news, because we got a ton. Comic book and TV screenwriter Martin Joseph Pascal also died recently of natural causes. Marvin is perhaps best known for his work on Superman in various media, such as television, animation, the syndicated newspaper strip, as well as the comic book. In addition to his work on Superman, Marvin worked on such TV series as, drumroll, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, The Original Fantasy Island, The Twilight Zone, the second series, Max Headroom, Simon & Simon, and Roseanne, just to name a few. On the animated front, Martin worked on such shows as Thundar the Barbarian, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Exo Squad, Teen Wolf, Berenstain Bears, G.I. Joe, a real American hero, My Little Pony, Bucky O'Hare, and the Toad Wars, The Tick, and Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, just to name a few. Of note, speaking of Thundar, Martin was the guy who came up with the name Ookla the Mock. So do we have any Thundar Barbarian fans?
Last night I watched Last night I watched the first 4 episodes of Thundar in Marty Pasco's honor. I just wanted to remember Princess Ariel as well. So
yes, Princess Ariel, but
as well as Ookla the Mock.
Yes, that is correct. So that's kind of awesome. He was a young 65. So moving on
Oh
from
my God! Don't
when did
tell me
Thundar
that
the
stuff.
Barbarian come out?
Oof, that's
1980.
There we go. Good job.
I'm just curious because like he had a laser sword, and I'm wondering who ripped off who. Okay, they ripped off Star Wars.
Whenever there's a laser sword involved, it's always Star Wars. I believe that they had the first laser sword, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. Plus, like he basically had his own Chewbacca.
Yeah, really.
Really, yeah.
But it was different enough, and I love that show. I gotta tell you. Moving on for more sad news. Some
great animation.
Yeah, more sad news. Legendary comedian and actor Jerry Stiller also died recently, and also of natural causes. Jerry appeared in such films as The Taking of Pelham 123, Seize the Day, Hot Pursuit, Hairspray, Highway to Hell, Heavyweights, My 5 Wives, that must be a good movie, Serving Sarah, The Lion King 1.5, Heartbreak Kid, Zoolander, and its sequel, Zoolander Part 2, just to name a few. On the small screen, Jerry appeared in such shows as The Courtship of Eddie's Father, Love American Style, The Paul Lynde Show, The Original Love Boat, Heart to Heart, Simon & Simon, how about that? 2 Simon & Simon people in one show, Trapper John MD, The Equalizer, the original Equalizer, Tales from the Dark Side, Tadinger, Murder, She Wrote, Law & Order, LA Law, Homicide, Life on the Street, Touched by an Angel, The Teacher's Pet, Fish Hooks, The Good Wife, and How Murray Saved Christmas, just to name a few. Woof. Of course, Jerry is most famous for the role of Frank Costanza in the TV series Seinfeld. And
You're really not going to mention Seinfeld?
I just did. And the role of Arthur Spooner in the 195 episodes of the TV show The King of Screams. Of note, Jerry is the father of actor Ben Stiller, for those of you who didn't know. Senior correspondent Charlie Saladino.
Yes.
You have any Jerry Stiller stories to share with us? Because once again, that was your time.
Sure do. Sure do. Sure do. Back in the day, during the Ed Sullivan Show, he was in one of the top comedy teams of the day, Stiller and Mara, with his wife Ann Mara, who appeared in a couple of episodes in The King and Queens with him. Ann Mara died, passed away a couple of years ago, or a year ago, about I don't know how long, but they were pretty good as a comedic team. Look forward to seeing them on the Ed Sullivan Show whenever they were on. So Ann is also the mother of Ben Stiller, in case you're keeping tabs. But yeah, it's a big loss for the comic world.
So he was a spry 92.
I thought you were going to say you look forward to seeing
Yeah,
them on.
very sad.
That would have been funny. I thought the same thing, Jennifer. I thought the same thing.
Here in Pittsburgh. Here in Pittsburgh, we've been celebrating Festivus for about 15 years. So
Festivus for the rest of us.
I celebrate
exactly.
Festivus every year.
Yep.
My favorite part is the airing of grievances. I can't wait to air my
Hey,
grievances
Mark.
against you this year, Mark.
Mark, do we have any happy news?
We have one
Nope.
more sad news before we get to the not as sad news.
Oh, God.
So the last bit of
Need
sad
a sturdy
news.
branch and a rope for myself.
Last bit of sad news. Roy of Siegfried and Roy also died recently from the coronavirus. Roy was one half of the aforementioned magic duo, which headlined Las Vegas for many years, up until 2003, when Roy was attacked by one of the famous white tigers during their performance. The attack severed Roy's spine, drained his blood, and severely injured other parts of his body, permanently impairing his motor and verbal abilities, essentially putting an end to their act. Of note, Roy was a co-creator of the animated series Father of Pride on NBC in 2004. And for those of you who weren't paying attention, Father of Pride was a primetime CGI series which centered on a family of white lions whom the father was part of the Siegfried and Roy show in Las Vegas.
Tiger King.
I did not pay attention to that. I had no idea that even came out ever.
I do remember that show. I didn't see it, but I
No.
remember it existing.
You know, I'm suspicious of this man's death. I don't know if it was COVID. I think it might have been Carol Baskin.
Hmm.
Terrible.
I'm just saying.
He was a young 75 or spry 75. He was a spry 75.
Was he spry? You get mauled by a tiger. How spry are you?
He was
Not
sort of-
very.
By the way,
Yes,
By
Charlie
the way,
Saladino.
yeah, that he did not have that tiger destroyed because the tiger was trying to protect him.
Did a hell of a job.
By draining his blood?
It did.
Yeah.
And I actually held that tiger when it was a little kitty cat. They came to ABC and they had the white albino tigers in the green room, and I sat on the floor with the both of them, and I was definitely playing with them, and powerful little cats. I could imagine being attacked by one of them when they grow older.
Holy crap, Charlie. I had no idea. That's awesome.
Be careful,
Yeah.
Charlie. Carol Baskin will be coming for you now, too, because you were part of cub petting.
Yeah. Well, I
Watch out, man.
think that they belong in the wild where they should be, you know. So
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to some not as sad news. Not as sad news.
We can't even graduate to happy. It's not as sad.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is
Um,
the times we live in.
From the Everything is Digital Now department. As mentioned in a previous show, San Diego ComicCon, the biggest pop culture convention, had been canceled due to the ongoing pandemic. But like much other conventions that have been canceled their events, the San Diego ComicCon has announced that they are moving forward with an online version of the convention. A video on their main page says, coming soon, free parking, comfy chairs, personalized snacks, no lines, pets welcome, badges for all, and a front row seat to Comic-Con at home. As of this recording, no details have been given, but after seeing different various online cons, I think it's going to have plenty of panels and virtual meet and greets. In addition to that, San Diego Comic-Con has announced that their 2020 souvenir book, usually only available to people who actually attend the event, will be available as a free PDF to anyone who wants it. So there's some good news, right?
That's cool.
The people that are already antisocial are now having their one time of socialization per year ruined. So it's not great.
But they get a free book.
Yeah, and listen, we don't have to stand in lines. There's no standing in lines of smelling guys BO. So that's not bad.
I didn't think of the
Wow.
Oh,
BO.
the
I think
BO.
of public bathrooms.
That's also
what
bad.
gets me. Yeah, that's what gets me.
The
Public-
line.
I don't wanna
You
go.
always measure a con by the food and the parking. So is this good for you or not good for you?
Well, for me, my parking is great right now. The food, not so much. I need some better food.
I recommend you go stock up.
That's good advice.
We have a nutritionist on staff. She can guide you for this.
Right here.
For $15,000, yeah.
Yeah.
15,000.
I'm
It
pretty
looks
certain
delicious,
anything she
John.
tell you to make, you wouldn't eat.
I wouldn't take that bet.
You sure? I've seen you eat.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't take that bet because I would lose it instantly.
Oh, okay.
Moving on.
I've never seen a vegetable grace your lips.
I eat potatoes. From the remake department, CBS has announced a new Equalizer TV series, which is a reboot of the original series, which ran for 88 episodes from 1985 to 1989. This is not to be confused with the movie Equalizer and its sequel, which is also a reboot of the series that had Denzel Washington in the lead role. The new series will be produced and starring none other than Dana Owens, better known as Queen Latifah, as an enigmatic woman with a mysterious background who uses her extensive skills to help those with nowhere else to turn.
So this has to do with the movie Equalizer, right?
Well, it's based on the TV series with the... Thanks. I can't see you wink. I'm reading the news. Don't make it harder for me.
The man can only do so much at one time.
So, yes, Queen Latifah is going to be the new Equalizer. The series is set to debut this fall.
Well, you know, if you're good to Queen Latifah, she's good to you, as we found out in Chicago.
I don't get the reference.
You didn't watch the movie Chicago, did you?
No, I did not watch the movie Chicago.
You should. It's good.
I'll add it to my list.
I got to really make a list of all the movies you haven't seen, which are fantastic, and all the movies you have, which are terrible.
It's a long list.
Oh my God, do you have enough paper for that, Dominic?
Well, we got the internet now. I could just, have a never-ending
Oh yeah,
Word
you can
file.
type it up, yeah.
I'll just type it up,
Yeah, there you go.
All right, moving on.
Thank God.
Speaking of remakes, from the Replay Yesterday's Game with Today's Graphics Department, game company Activision announced that they are remastering Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 for release on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the PC. The remastered game will include the original levels, skaters, tricks, and modes, and soundtracks from the 20-year-old game with updated 4K resolution graphics running at 60 frames per second, as well as an updated better controls. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 will be available for $40, $39.99, with a special $100, $99.99 collector's edition featuring extra digital content and a limited edition birdhouse deck, which apparently is the top part of a skateboard from Tony Hawk's skateboard company, Birdhouse. We have any gaming fans on the panel?
Right not. I don't understand why you would remaster one.
Awesome. That game is awesome. This is the greatest game ever.
I don't get why don't they just make a new Tony Hawk skating game? Why remaster it?
Because they want to.
They tried and they've all stunk.
There you go. There you go. They all stunk.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Parks in California filled up.
Well, like, how many Maddens have they put out? The first one must have been terrible, but they just keep putting out a new Madden, right?
Well, this is a skater game. Skating isn't as popular as it was back in the 90s. So you have to refine your
Okay.
audience. Re-release the
Well,
game, build your audience, and then
Okay.
you
Okay. I think I understand.
All right, so let's
They
see.
need a skater game because the theme parks are filled up.
Oh, look at that. With-
California's all filled up with snakes.
I didn't have my drum roll button ready, but good job. Let's see. So we're gonna do this one. This one is just for this is just for Dominic right here.
Oh, God.
From the last bit of news, from the it's just a movie, but is it really department? Lucasfilm executive Matt Martin took a page right out of Pronto Comics' Dominic Definition Man Sperano's book while addressing fans' concerns over what is and what isn't considered canon in the Star Wars universe. Matt says, to summarize, there is a reason that we, meaning Lucasfilms, need to internally know what is and isn't canon so we can keep our line of official storytelling as aligned as possible. But that doesn't mean that fans can't individually pick and choose what they want to accept as true. It's all fake anyway, so you can choose to accept whatever you want as part of the story. He goes
That
on.
doesn't sound like him at all.
Yeah.
He goes
I've been
on.
waiting for you to say that this whole show.
He goes on to kind of lessen that statement by.
That's like Vince McMahon coming out saying, yes, you're correct. It's all fake. I predetermined it. That's it. I mean, like, that's the magician going, this is where I hid the canary. This is where I have my other canary. This is where the rabbit is. Like, you don't actually admit that it's all fake and made up.
And yet he did.
And yet he did. And the world keeps going in pandemic time.
You never break kayfabe.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So he goes
That's
on
like-
to kind of lessen the statement by saying, if you choose to only accept the real official canon, cool. If you like to mix and match between the continuities, cool. If you like to make up your own stories, also cool. Fans generally put too much emphasis on what the company deems official. If you like the animated version, then there's no reason to value it less because it's not canon, you know?
I thought the animated versions are canon, though.
I don't know. Personally, I don't know what the hell is and isn't canon anymore. It's just ridiculous.
I'm just saying, like, all the
Aristotle.
animated from Clone Wars, if it wasn't canon, why'd they go and make another Clone Wars season? So, like, the Clone Wars, Rebels, and Resistance, I thought that was all to be considered canon. Quite frankly, I think it's more canon than anything else because Dave Filoni learned specifically from George Lucas.
Maybe. It's just, like you said, Vince McMahon just kind of making it up as it goes along.
That's true. I'm just saying, like, Dave Filoni, like, George Lucas taught Dave Filoni all the ins and outs of what the Force is supposed to be in storytelling. So that's why, like, all the stuff that he does, including The Mandalorian, is fantastic, and everything that J.J. Abrams did was terrible.
wouldn't that make Dave Filoni Triple H?
Yeah, that's a good, yeah. Well, did Dave Filoni marry George Lucas's daughter, though?
Not yet.
Not yet. You know,
He's
that
working
would
on
really
it.
make it Triple H.
So that's it for the news. So we're going to take our break, and we'll be right back with It Came From the Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Todd McFarlane of the record-setting Spawn comic series. And if you're looking for any kind of cool conversation about creators, about entertainment, about all that good stuff, you go to It Came From the Radio. You're listening to the right spot.
Hi, you've heard my voice open and close the show. Now we want to hear your voice. If you have a business or product, you can record a commercial here. We offer 30 and 60-second spots. For more information, contact Mark at mfc_studios@hotmail.com.
This is Quentin Flynn, a popular voice actor known for Axel, Timon, and Raiden from the Metal Gear series. And you're listening to It Came From the Radio. Stick around.
Hey guys, this is Christy from Custom Cakes by Christy. I want you to know that I'm here for you. I'm keeping my private kitchen open for any needs your family may have. I've been focusing on breads, soups, muffins, quiches, and other basics, but I'm still accepting dessert orders as well. Please follow my Facebook for immediate pickup items. Private message me for custom orders. Custom Cakes by Christy, INC, KRISTY. Text me at 631-606-8166.
Mike Kingston, the writer and creator of Headlocks. And I am WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. And guess what you're listening to? You're listening to It Came From the Radio.
Hi, this is Amy Jo Johnson, writer-director from the film The Space Between, and you're listening to It Came From the Radio.
Meet Grimlock having fun on It Came From the Radio. Meet Greg Berger also.
Now, back to our show.
And welcome back to It Came From the Radio, the official show of the Big Apple Con. This is your host, Mark Torres speaking. We're here with the entire group of our staff. We have the Life with Energy, Janelle Speldy, senior correspondent Charles Saladino, Pronto Comics, Dominic Definition Man, Sperano, all here. And we have our guests, two really cool special guys. We have Marvin Wynn from The Edge Comic and MT from Heron Berg with Marussia. That's when you're supposed to say hi.
Hey guys. Hi, everybody. Well, greetings from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All right, so let's just start with the basics. How did you two guys meet, and what is your stuff about?
Hey, Marvin, you want to go first?
Oh, no, you can go ahead.
Well, okay. Our series is called Heroineburgh. That's superheroines in Pittsburgh. And it started 3 years ago as a live-action series. We've produced and released 17 live-action episodes with superheroes and villainesses, all female. We like to call it action, romance, comedy, and combat in the finest spandex and capes. So it's an all-original universe set in Pittsburgh. And so we started going to local conventions and also put out a comic book. And online, we ran into Marvin, and we started sharing our booths together at various conventions and collaborating on activities. So Marvin does The Edge Comics, and he'll tell you more about his comic book. We're both from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Very good, very good. Thank you. So The Edge is a kind of a throwback to comic books from the 90s, X-Men 90s, Wildcats from Wildstorm. It's about a Secret Service type team that is hunting a character called Revenant. The basis of The Edge is it's a super soldier type drug that gives you powers, but the more you use those powers, the more it can drain you, and then it can kill you.
So now can I talk about our premise?
Yeah, go right ahead. It's all about you guys.
Right. So that was Marvin's secret origin of his universe. Ours basically is that a dark meteor explodes above Pittsburgh and imbues various women with the XX chromosome with superpowers. Some of them go on to become heroines saving the city and banding together for justice. Others decide to use their powers for ill-gotten gains or for evil, destructive purposes. And the good ladies form a heroine league to band together, and some of the bad ones join in a group called the Black Faction, and their goal is to discredit the heroines and turn them back into vigilantes so that they don't have the endorsement of the city and the police department anymore. Sitting next to me right here is Marussia Malvo. She is one of our superheroines in the live-action series. She plays Vendetta, the Italian ninja. She represents Bloomfield, which is the Italian part of the city. She's kind of a cross between the Huntress and Mockingbird as far as her powers and how she looks. You want to tell people a little bit more about your character, Marussia?
Well, I'm a mafia princess, and whenever I have confidence in myself, I'm completely unbeatable. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. And I get to use like cool Excrema sticks and everything. It's a blast. I love doing this.
So yes, Mauricia also has her own comic called The Music Maker, which she's been putting out. And she has her first issue here. And yeah, so in addition to being one of our prime actresses playing Vendetta in the series, she joins us at conventions selling her comic alongside me and Marvin. And our comic, which is out right here, it's been out for a few months, and we're selling it in both stores around Western Pennsylvania as well as around the country now. We have about a dozen stores selling it across North America, including 3 in New York City, and people can actually order it online at our website. So basically, Heroineburgh is both a live-action video series and a comic book at the same time.
All right, so let's break it down a little bit. The live-action series part. How do you find people? How do you decide what character is for which person, which actress? Like, how do you find your talent, and how do you decide which person, who is the talent to be which character?
Very good question. So we had a roster of characters, and we started out by, I'm involved in the Pittsburgh music scene, so some of the first people we found were members of rock bands, essentially singers, guitarists, and people from the music scene. And from then on, we kind of expanded to other performance areas in Pittsburgh, people who do amateur theater, who do improv comedy, people who do burlesque dancing, people who do belly dance. So all of these people have different types of performance talents, and yeah, they put on the spandex and they play the characters, and we have fully realized episodes and stuff like that. I can show you. Here is a lineup of a lot of the women who are in the series. These are just the heroines, none of the villains. But it shows you kind of the diversity of what the characters look like. They're all very colorful in their costumes, which we design. And in that picture, you can also see the police captain and the mayor, who are on the left side and the right side. They play important characters in the series as well. So, yeah, we found them all around the city. And every single person in the series, including all the henchmen and the people who get beat up or various secondary characters, everybody is from Pittsburgh.
So now the second question I have is, why only female superpowered people in your comic?
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for asking that. So we've always been inspired by superheroines since we started collecting comics in the late 70s, early 80s. A lot of the early stuff that we watched, 1970s TV shows like Wonder Woman, Bionic Woman, Electra Woman and Dyna Girl, Buck Rogers, things like that. And, kind of developed an interest in superheroines, also early comics drawn by people like George Perez, like New Teen Titans. We liked heroines like Starfire and Raven. So when we left the comic scene for a while, but when we got back to it in the mid-2010s, there was a lot of people doing superheroine videos, but not a whole lot of people doing original stuff. So around 2016, we decided to throw our hats in the ring and produce stuff. I would say one of the big things that you might want to compare Heroineburgh to is Fun Force, which was a 1980s comic book of all-female superheroes. It still exists today. It's based out of Florida. They have over 150 issues now, I think, something like that. And the Fun Force people did their own movies, live-action movies. So we're kind of patterning ourselves a little bit after them, except instead of being based in Florida, we're an all-Pittsburgh series instead.
So Dominic, you have a question for MT or Marvin?
Well, I get that it's in Pittsburgh because you're from Pittsburgh. Did they ever expand outward to other cities?
Well, good question. Well, first of all, we're working on some crossovers in the comics. Marvin can tell you about the crossover between The Edge and Heroineburgh as far as our universes. But yeah, as far as we don't really show any other cities, but we do mention that there are superheroes in other cities, and we actually we're working on collaborations with a series in Australia, in Sydney, Australia, called the Superheroine Project. And so, and in fact, this is a good point. in our 13th episode, we did crossovers with 5 other live-action superhero series, and we used characters from those series in our episode. So basically, the superheroines were Skyping with places like Portland, Chicago, London, Italy, Sydney, and we got glimpses of the heroines in those other cities, which are based from those other series. So we do recognize that. But in our universe, Pittsburgh is the center of superheroes because of the meteor explosion. So everybody looks to Pittsburgh as far as the largest amount of superheroes.
Charlie, you have a question for him?
Charlie?
Did we lose Charlie? I see Charlie. Can we hear Charlie?
Yeah, no, I
see
do
him
have
too.
a question.
Okay,
I do
go ahead.
have a question.
Ask Marvin some stuff.
How hard or easy was it? I'm very interested in this. How hard or easy was it going from the comic book into production to the live series? What problems did you run into, if any?
We did that backwards, actually, Charlie. The live series ran for about 2.5 years, and then we decided to turn it into a comic book. So it went the other direction. But I've been friends with an artist who's been working for DC for a couple decades, Jason Wright, and he was doing our character renderings. This is his cover here. He's a colorist for DC Comics. Right now he's on Metal Man, and before that he was coloring Green Lantern for a couple of years.
Nice.
So and here are the stickers he made for us. So as far as transitioning from the live action to the comics, we basically found people in Pittsburgh such as Jason and our friends Wayne Brown, Benjamin Zeus Barnett, Marcel Walker, people who were doing comic books in Pittsburgh, and we brought them on to render these live action characters in comic book form. So it actually went the other way around, which is, I would say, fairly unusual.
Did you have any problems with getting your renderings, or did you have any? In other words, what I'm trying to say is, were you happy with the transition?
Yeah, it's actually the comic book and the live action series work very well in tandem. They have, of course, slightly different fan bases. You know, the people who download the episodes are not necessarily the people who buy the comic books, but what they do have in common is they both like superheroines, right? So depends if they like them live or if they like them on the page. We didn't really have a lot of problems. All we had to do was find the right comic book artist to render the superheroes. The comic book renderings look an awful lot like the actual actresses who are in the series. For example, Mauricia, right behind her head is a picture of Vendetta, the character that she represents, and it looks a lot like her. So, yeah, we found some really good artists in Pittsburgh. It's not always easy to find people who can draw superheroes in like an 80s and 90s style. We'll call it a little bit 80s good girl and 90s bad girl, kind of mixed together. But we found them, and they're doing a really good job for us, especially Jason Wright, too.
So Jennifer, do you have a question for the guys?
Two-part question. One, would you consider making any heroines in baggy clothes or very out of shape? And number two, what storylines has this pandemic inspired you to write? If any.
The first answer to the question is basically no. We would kind of not. That's not our aesthetic, just to be perfectly honest. So if you're looking for the kind of I don't know, things that maybe you saw in the Birds of Prey movie, not so much. But as far as the second thing, we haven't had any pandemic related stories, but we are working on a story involving a virus, which is more like a nanobot tech virus that infects some of the heroines, and the Black Faction, who are the evil guys, use that virus to attempt to control some of them and turn them into like machine-oriented creatures. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. But basically, imagine if you transformed a superhero into somebody who looks a little bit more like Ultron. That's kind of what it's going to be looking like.
Would
So yeah, not a,
Elon Musk be involved in that?
no, but in fact, we have an evil Elon Musk. He's a guy who was injured by one of the superheroines in the midst of a battle, and he was cast aside. They didn't care about him, and he felt very rejected. So he decided to become an evil helper to the Black faction and help them devise deadly weapons to destroy the heroines. His name is Craniac, so Brainiac, except with a C, right? And yeah, he devises a lot of the weapons that the evil guys use to attack, and he's putting together this virus, which is a techno-virus rather than a biological one.
I'd like to see Elon Musk's response to that.
Yeah, I think I can answer your two-part question. One, yes, we do have plus-size characters in the Edge. And the second question, the Edge works like a virus. And actually, when this all started, our tagline was "the infection spreads," and I had to stop using it because it didn't work anymore because of
timing, man. That's rough timing.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you go back on some of my Facebook posts, you'll see continuously hashtag the infection spreads, and I'm like, I can't use that anymore. It's not good.
I'm on your page right now. Yeah. Wow. So what's your new tagline gonna be?
Our new tagline, we don't know yet. We're trying
to. Jay Feldy is awesome.
Yeah.
Jenelise Feldman is the best. How about that?
We're testing out a few. You see, I've tried out a few hashtags here and there, Indie Network, and a few other ones, or just the Edge.
So, Marvin, how do you and the Edge work with Heron Berg's company? How does that mesh up together? Because it's two different things, and now you're working together.
Right. Well, like MT said, that we do conventions together. We travel together. We go to stores together. But we are working on a kind of crossover in two pieces, which will bring over some of the characters from Heron Berg. And then later on, we're going to have a mashup with multiple indie comic characters. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that since issue 1, we've been building to something where one of our characters, Interim, she's able to open time portals. And some of the portals, when she was younger, she didn't close, and things are sort of start coming through those portals. And it's going to be a situation where things are going to start merging, and we're going to need a bunch of characters to help close those portals and stop what's coming.
All right. See, now you brought up portals. You know what I'm going to ask?
Go for it.
Are you upset that the Avengers Endgame decided to make a big thing out of portals? So now you with the pandemic, you got a strike against you. Now you got portals coming from the biggest movie of all time against you. And you like every idea I come up with.
Well, I mean, it gets worse than that because some of the stuff that some movies and things have rolled over some of the things I had to do, and I had to change it. But I think the portal things will stick because it's a little different in that portals aren't really helpful after the fact. And we're dealing with characters who don't have any control over their power. So what happens if you've left something open, you left a door open for 30 years, something's going to come through it.
Dude, you might want to check your house, make sure it's not bugged by like Disney or something, stealing your ideas.
So, I mean, where we're going is we're slowly introducing origins to the characters as the story goes. And we're actually at one time going to travel to Interim's home, which is her entire village where she came from is 12 hours ahead in time because of those portals are still open.
Interesting.
So what do you come up with an idea like that? What was your inspiration? Were you just one day just sitting around, I'm going to make a story about this? Or did you have plans and seeds throughout all these years?
I think it was more the seeds thing. I think that a lot of it has to do with, like I said, the inspiration from those books from the 90s and how you had high adventure, good art, and a lot of things that are connecting across different fields, and you're trying to mesh everything together. I think it's just an encompassing of just walking around, talking to people, and seeing what kind of things that people are interested in.
One of our main themes of our shows, we usually focus on the independent artist, writer, creator, such as you guys. I love asking this question because I always am interested in what I get. So as we know that there's no money in comic books.
There is
why?
not, no.
So why did you decide to go into the comic book world? Why?
Start with Marvin.
Okay. I mean, it's fun. I mean, I think that's where it comes down to, is that if you get into a situation of something that is not a job, it's a hobby, you want to have fun, and you want to be able to see people's eyes light up when they see a new book, or you get a post on Facebook or a message in your email saying that people are really enjoying these things. So you're not really looking for that big payday. You're not really trying to Todd McFarlane it. But I mean, if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, we want to make these toys, we want to make these movies," I'm not going to say no.
So you have that level that you're ready and willing to sell out, but you're happy with what you have.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm very comfortable in what we're doing. I mean, like you said, that there's no money in it, but I mean, you're making something. You're getting something out of it, whether it's some money, some excitement, some adventure. I mean, life isn't forever. So, I mean, if you can get some joy out of it, why not?
No, that's. I wish I had my applause button for that one. It's social media time. So where can people find your stuff? What websites? What promotions you guys have going on? Do it all right now. So who wants to go first?
You want to jump, Manny? Or maybe?
Yeah, I can go first. Thanks. So just to build on what Marvin said, though, yeah, we basically do it for fun. Making these videos is a ton of fun. Making the comics is also a ton of fun. Mm-hmm. And in fact, us interacting socially, whether it's online or in person at cons, or when we're doing a film shoot, all of that is a lot of fun, as Mauricia can attest to. So our social media, we have our website, which is Heroineburgh.com. We also have Facebook, DeviantArt, and YouTube, which is all called Heroineburgh. And what the YouTube has, it has hundreds of clips from our long-form episodes, so you get to see behind-the-scenes stuff, outtakes, character intros, and, of course, the trailers for all the episodes. And we also have a Twitter as well, which is Heroineburgh1. I'm not sure why we did that, but that's how it is. But everything else is just called Heroineburgh, so easy to find, easy to search. Also, Mauricia has her comic book as well. It's musicmakercomics.com, comics, C-O-M-I-X. And she has one issue out so far.
Two. I mean, well, you can order two.
Oh, you have two. That's right.
It's
okay.
Issue 1 and issue 2. You can order off of the Music Maker Comics website. And just a little hook that we've been selling. I've been working with an artist from Mexico. Actually, I'm the writer. He's the artist, and then we have a separate letterer. What's kind of interesting about the Music Maker is that we actually have QR codes within the story itself, so that you can scan it with your phone and listen to sounds and music that's actually going on in the story. So yeah, and that's our spiel.
That's really cool. That's
Soundtrack
really
goes
cool.
along with the comic, yeah.
Huh. That's a nice idea.
Manny, websites, all that fun social media stuff.
Oh, was that for me?
You're talking to you mean me?
Yeah, it's your turn.
You mean Marvin?
Marvin, yeah. So we're theedgecomic.com. We are The Edge Comic on Facebook and Instagram. On Twitter, it's Marvin Wynn. And right now, if you get onto our store, theedgecomic.swood.com, you can download issue number 1 of The Edge digitally using the code ICF The Edge for free. When you get the email, you'll have a 10% off coupon for anything else on the store. And right now I'm going to announce that we are going to be releasing The Edge number 10 on July 7th.
That is awesome. And I apologize for calling you by the wrong name because I'm doing 8 different things right now.
Yep. So you can order directly our comic book directly from our website. If you can't find it in a store near you, you just go to Heroineburgh.com. drop down on comic book and order it directly. We mail it directly to people's houses, and if you do order it directly, you'll get it signed by the writer and the cover artist, as well as a whole bunch of free stickers and swag coming with it.
So, Marisa, I have to ask you, did you get into being an actress first or a comic book writer first?
Oh boy, no, that's a tough one.
You have less than 5 minutes.
I have no idea.
Put pressure at the woman, why don't you, Mark?
Like, fall into like the actor thing, because I always consider myself so much more of a comic book writer and everything. If it wasn't for Manny, I wouldn't even be doing the acting thing, honestly. And it's just, it's been. Sorry.
All right, fair enough. So we have less than 5 minutes to go. So we're going to do our final thoughts because we have everybody on the panel. So let's start off with a senior correspondent, Charles Saladino. Do you have a final thought for us?
Well, first of all, I like to thank these wonderful guests from coming here from the home of the Pirates and wonderful Pittsburgh. And oh my God, go on their websites, go on their social media, and buy their product. It's amazing.
Dominic, Definition Man Sproul, do you have a final thought for us?
Everything is online today, so go out and buy some comic books online, especially these two comics.
Yep.
Jennifer, do you have a final thought for us?
As always, be your own hero, because that's all you got at the end of the day. Yourself. Take care of yourself.
MT, do you have any final thoughts for us?
Support indie creators in this time, especially in the little short period where you don't have Diamond Comics sending anything to stores. Support indie creators online. Support your comic book store by indie comics from the stores if they have a pickup or curbside. And just support independent art. And we'll leave you with our other tagline, Heroines Assemble.
Marisa, do you have a final thought for us?
Final thoughts. Just check out our websites and everything. You will not be disappointed.
All right, Marvin, you get the final thought. Marvin, do you have any final thoughts for us?
So, I mean, if we got any creators out there listening, just keep creating. Keep making people smile, because that's what's going to get us all through this thing.
So my final thought is this: I met you guys 100 years ago, and I'm glad to have you on this version of the show because you were supposed to come to the studio and be a guest, but the way the coronavirus is, at least we managed to do this. I appreciate you guys doing this. Much continued success. I'm looking forward to looking into all of this stuff. So much continued success. Make sure everybody goes to the website, buy all this stuff, get the special discount that you mentioned because that's awesome. Check out the videos. I think that's pretty much it. So that about does it for this week on It Came From the Radio.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, senior correspondent Charles Saladino.
I just want to say one thing because I haven't seen her in a while. Thanks for getting me healthy. I'm loving it. You are amazing.
Aw, good. I want an update. What were your 24-pound loss the last time we talked?
We're up to 27 and going up on that. Yeah.
You lost weight and you lost your hair.
Yeah, definitely.
So that now about does it for us on It Came From the Radio. Join us right here any week on this radio show. If you miss any part of this show, go to our website, www.itcamefromradio.com. The archives will be up in a week or so. Check us out on our YouTube page, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. I want to do a special shout out to Kelly Gordon and the East Meadow Public Library for our 30-second live show. We're going to have our next live show will be on June the 10th. And we will have a guest artist there as well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And let me get this ready. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to It Came From the Radio with Mark Torres. The views of the show's hosts and guests did not necessarily reflect that of the management, owners, or staff of the station. We now return you to your earthly scheduled broadcast.